I'm Kristal Hart, and welcome to the Kristal Hart Show. Focusing, energizing, and motivating yourself and others. Are you feeling a little down, a little blasé, a little unmotivated? Well, if you are, you're not alone. Join the club. But the good news is there is help to recenter yourself, remotivate yourself. We're going to talk today about that stuck, fixed mind and how we can move into what a
growth mindset, and from there to a training, actively doing something mindset, and then to a trusting mindset where you feel confident and strong knowing that you can do what you train to do. So it is a process going from fixed mindset where you feel like there's nothing you can do, you're stuck there, into a growth mindset with a sense of hope, because hope gives energy to the present moment. And we'll use that hope and energy to shift into a training mindset and do a number of things to activate our bodies, move our bodies, so we can calm our minds and really focus on what our intentions are. So there's a number of things we'll be doing today. And then after you have a trusting mindset, as an athlete, I work with different athletes as psychologists. Our goal is to take our athletes from a fixed mindset where this is as high as you can go, that you can't do anything else, your skills are stuck there, to a growth mindset where we remove the glass ceilings and say, wow, I can do more. You have to look beyond your circumstances and set high goals and work to achieve them with a training mindset. And you'll do the little things that do make a difference. Body-wise, relax your body, as well as mentally. What can you do mentally to have a sense of mental toughness? What is your self-talk? What do you tell yourself when things go wrong? I'm terrible, I can't do any more. Or do I say, I've still got a lot of options for me, I'm going to push forward no matter what. I am not going to let the circumstances dictate how I feel inside. So once you do the training, then you perform in an event, you let everything go and simply shift into a totally trusting mindset. And in the trusting mindset, you know you will do well. You let things happen. And when you reach a certain level where it becomes so automatic, the event itself, whatever you're doing, say if you're playing basketball, things just naturally flow. So you can actually flow and get into a flow state where you become one with the activity, one with the game. It becomes natural and you become at ease. For example, a flow state, years ago, Michael Jordan was playing on the West Coast against Seattle. He made 4 threes in a row on national TV. He made his 5th one in a row. And then he looked to the sidelines where the announcers were, and he went like this. Guess what? He missed his next 4 shots.
Oh, no.
He took himself out of the sense of flow. He was no longer one with the event. So he wasn't with it in terms of just continuing to doing what he was doing. He started thinking about it. So your thoughts can get in the way many times when you're doing something. Step back, pause, focus on what you're doing, and let things begin to flow and really enjoy the event.
That reminded me of the athlete that said, oh, there's no COVID anywhere. And he touched all the microphones and everything. And the next day he came down and they tested him. He had COVID. Well, with us, so you know, is Michael S Prokop. And he is, his credentials, an instructor, consulting school psychologist, board certified professional counselor. He is a national speaker for the company PESI, where he is certified a clinical trauma professional trainer, and he specializes in grief and trauma therapy, relaxation therapy, anger management, mind toughness, and more. So first, I guess we were going to sort of start with that closed, fixed mind, or do you want to set an intention first, or what?
Yeah, well,
what would you like?
Well, let's just talk a little bit about a closed, fixed mind. That's when you feel like you can't do anything else, you're stuck, you may feel a little down, a little depressed, you feel like there's nothing you can do, and you get into a funk. So that's when you get stuck in a fixed mindset where you feel like there's nothing else you can do. And we can help you shift out of that mindset, and there's many things you can do. First of all, you can set your intention to improve, to move forward. Intentions actually came from the word intentio. It's a Latin word, and it means purpose, believing, and stretching. So when you set your intention, you look forward with energy and hope, and then when you do that, you actually shift into a growth mindset ever so gently. So because hope gives energy to the present moment, and that is so important to live your life in the present moment, and there are things you can do within that present moment. So in this very present moment, let's set our intentions for what we want to do within this next half hour. What can you do as a person in the audience? What could you do as a person in the audience, Kristal?
Well, I'm going to actively participate
Mm-hmm.
and listen.
Participate, stay focused, and learn as much as you can, and have what's called a beginner's mind. Suzuki said in the beginner's mind there are many possibilities, but in an expert's mind there are few. So today, just put everything aside that you ever learned, and let's just focus on shifting from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset today. So I'd like you now to just take a minute and set your intention. What do you want to get out of this session today? How can you apply it to yourself? Those are just some suggestions. But the key is to keep a beginner's mind with a sense of curiosity. With curiosity, you have a sense of hope that you can shift into a growth mindset. Kristal, I'm going to put you on the spot, which I love doing on your shows. What is your intention for this show?
I want to relieve some of the anxiety that I'm feeling and have maybe a little bit more peaceful self being.
Okay, very good. So you want to relieve a little anxiety. And when you experience anxiety, where do you notice it in your body?
Well, all over. Right now my hands are a little sweaty and clammy, and maybe in my chest area.
You feel a little tightness?
Yes.
Okay, so tightness resists aliveness. So what we're going to do first as we shift from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset is see where in our bodies we're holding that tension, because tightness resists aliveness, and our goal is to feel alive again and not stuck, depressed, feeling like there's nothing we can do. So we often have to set our intention to move forward, which is very, very powerful, because when you set your intention, you align your mind and body together. There's an energy flow between your mind and body, and when you set your intention to do something, it activates the flow of energy between your mind and body, and it actually pushes you forward. You have that little bit of movement. Even though you actually haven't moved, you can sense and feel it in your own body when you set your intention. So you can set your intention today to learn a little bit, grow a little bit, and deal with a little bit of anxiety that could be holding you back and keeping you stuck in a fixed mindset. So those are some of the things we're going to focus on today. One thing we can do to help you is to tap into the wisdom of your body, and there are a number of activities we can do to help you relax your body, ground yourself, and reset your nervous system so you can move forward with intention. So one of the things we're going to do now, and we're going to demonstrate, is grounding and centering. And when you ground yourself and center yourself within your own body and feel that, you actually bring yourself totally back to the present moment. Because what's anxiety a function of? Worrying about what's going to happen in the future. Well,
Things that probably I have no control over to begin with.
yeah, and so things you have no control over to begin with, which is a very beautiful point. So you have to almost do a control analysis. What do I really have control over? I can control my movements, how I respond to different situations.
How I respond.
And then not react. So you can always create, stop, and pause and notice what's going on. When you observe, you get a sense of freedom. So you stop and pause and notice, think of what you can do, and then respond. So you have an internal sense of control, internal locus of control. So there's so many things you can't control. What's on the news, if it's going to rain today, your own safety in the subway, you have some control over that by being vigilant and a relaxed body and scanning. That's what you can control. So you have to put your energy, your time, and your effort and your focus on things you can control. Like you can control as an athlete how many foul shots as a basketball player you want to practice shooting every day in the summer, maybe 100 a day, chart those. You can work on lifting weights, getting stronger. You can't control the schedule, that's done at the league office, things of that nature. So there are things you can control. You can do many things to improve yourself, and that's working. That's when you shift into the training mindset and do different things to improve yourself. So you have to determine, what can I really control here? I can't control my past. I have some control over what I can do in the future by preparing for the future. But the key is, as Thich Nhat Hanh said, as long as you try your best, then be happy, knowing that you tried your best. That's where the happiness lies. Knowing that you have no regrets, saying you didn't train hard enough, you didn't work at this, you didn't step in and lean into a little fear, a little vulnerability. You can be afraid and still do something anyhow. Very, very important. So don't let that anxiety, that fear in your body hold you back. With the athletes that I work with, and I worked with a few guys who were at Pro Day, NFL Combine, the key is, what do these butterflies mean in your stomach right before you're ready to run the 40? It means your body's preparing to do great things. Rather than say, well, I'm nervous, I'm tense, I can't deal with this. No, this is a trigger. Take one deep breath, relax, focus, and do what you have to do, knowing that you've trained your best, you did everything you can do. So now we're just going to let it happen. So that's trusting mindset. We just let it happen. I'll never forget Dree Archer. His goal was to, he played with the Steelers for 2 years. His goal at the combine was to run a 4.240, which was like be the fastest of all time. Dree actually ran a 4.2640, which means, if you don't know about football that much, it means that's really fast. Second fastest time in the history of the combine. But he went into a trusting mindset. He trained. He knew he did everything he could. Now he's going to enjoy the event, be one with the event, trust himself, and just let himself flow. And that's the key, is to really enjoy life. Flow with what it gives you, knowing what you can control, and then respond appropriately when things don't go your way. What can you do? I can't control what happened to me, but I can control my breath, my breathing. I can learn to calm myself down. But we want to, when you're in a fixed mindset, though, you feel de-energized. You feel like you don't have any energy. There's nothing you can do. So what we like to do with clients and athletes as well, who are feeling like they're just down, is to re-energize their systems, refocus their systems, and get a sense of flow again. Because when you're in a fixed mindset, you feel stuck. Depressing thoughts, low energy, nothing you can do. So one of the things you can do, first of all, is notice how you hold your body. Now, if I hold my body like this and say, I am powerful and strong, what do you think? Do you feel powerful and strong? No, but if you put your shoulders back, down, and relaxed, your hands in front of you, and when you elongate your spine and let the spinal fluid flow through your spine, it actually opens you up. And it actually changes your mood. You can actually change your moods with how you hold your body. So you hold your body like your shoulders up, down, and back, and relaxed. And open up to what is as it is. And so many good things can happen. So you can actually change your own physiology, your own moods on how you hold your body. And then you can say, I feel powerful, strong, I can stand my ground. Go ahead and say it.
I feel powerful, I feel strong, I can hold my ground.
Beautiful. How do you feel?
Powerful and strong, confident.
Yeah, that's so very, very important. Self-talk, what you tell yourself is how you're going to feel. Because when you tell yourself that you're down, there's nothing you can do, your body's going to get that message. Your mind's going to tell your body there's nothing you can do, and you're going to actually shift into a defeated posture. So you could have your body tell your mind that I'm okay, I'm strong, I'm powerful by shifting your posture. So kind of regulate your posture throughout the day, and you'll be very, very surprised on how you can change your feeling tone, what your felt sense of what you feel inside. And then with positive thoughts, you're telling your body that it's okay, you can move forward now. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
So we are going to look at, but do monitor your posture. That is so very, very powerful, and kind of check in with your body. It's called interoception, where you notice what you're feeling in your body, and just notice if you're feeling anxious and you feel like a knot in your belly right here. Don't try to fight that, because when you fight it, your body tightens up even more. Just notice that body sensation, maybe a tightness right here in your gut, and that's the body sensation that goes with the feeling or the emotion of anxiety. Because every emotion has a body sensation that goes with it. And if you try to fight anxiety in your mind, guess what happens? What do you think happens when you say, well, I don't want to be anxious anymore?
I think you get more anxious.
You get more
I think, yeah.
Absolutely. So you have to tap into the wisdom of your body. Say, notice that you're feeling anxious. Where in your body do you experience that? And notice it. Maybe it's a tightness right here. And what you do is you simply notice that sensation, and with impermanence, as nothing lasts forever, let that gradually pendulate, that body sensation, back and forth. And before you know it, it'll dissipate. Don't fight it. Don't try to stop it. Just notice it and just let it naturally ebb and flow. So you can actually work with your own emotions through body sensations. Does that make sense? So when you're working with athletes, notice what you feel in your body. As I mentioned earlier, before Dree ran the 40 and the combine, oh, little butterflies, what's that mean? It's my body preparing to do great things. So let your anxiety, maybe where you feel tension, let that be a trigger to stop, pause, breathe, and simply observe. And when you observe, that opens you up. That opens up a space for freedom, so you don't feel like you're in a fixed, locked-in mindset, tight body, racing mind, and maybe dissociation where you just collapse. We're going to open up to that. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
So always monitor your posture. That's very, very important, and I think that can be very helpful. But today, as we know, you set your intention to help others, stay relaxed, help others deal with anxiety. Very, very powerful. Because with intention, it integrates the mind and the body. You actually feel body vibrations almost very subtly. You can actually feel that energy grow in you when you set your intention. For example, if you say, I'm going to walk into the other room, just think about that. I'm going to walk into the other room. You could almost feel your body and mind aligning up, and then you do what you have to do. So when you set your intention, it helps you stay on the path to the direction of where you want to go. Crazy things may be happening around you, but you are focused, strong, and you have a sense of flexibility, knowing that you can stay on the path. So setting your intention every day, 3 things you'd like to do can be very, very powerful. Say you want to say, well, I want to start walking, I want to start moving, but I just I just can't do it. What you do then is put your jogging shoes or your walking shoes right in the kitchen, right by your front door. And as you walk by, and write down when you're going to walk each day, so you set that intention, and then do it. I'll say maybe only. I say I'm only going to do it for 2 minutes. Okay, but what happens?
Sometimes you get involved, and so then 2 minutes goes to 4 minutes to 5 minutes, and sometimes you start to get that when everything in your brain, your mind.
You get a sense of flow and say, I'm enjoying this. You become one with what you're doing. You get the mojo going again. And when you get the mojo going, it's positive energy, moving forward with positive energy and letting your body pull you through. And then focus on what you're doing, and all of a sudden it'll help clear out your mind.
You know, I do that at the gym, because if I go in sometimes and I'm going to go on a treadmill or something, if I think, oh my gosh, it's going to be an hour or whatever, I can't do it. But if I say, I'm just going to go in for 10 minutes or 15 minutes and just to calm myself or get a little my body moving, and then sometimes it turns out to be like an hour or whatever, just because as you said, I get into that flow and
Movement. And then plus you're releasing all that tension out of your body. And you notice how your mind feels after you're done with a nice workout?
right.
You have more dopamine in your system. You have more serotonin, a feel-good neurotransmitter. The dopamine's for motivation. And you even feel like you have a little bit of extra oxytocin, which is just a bonding hormone that you may have just by interacting with people at the gym in a relaxed state. So you're really tapping into a number of things socially, movement-wise, and then as you talk about what your workout was, you also become energized. So you're using many different parts of your brain as you work after you work out and while you're working out.
And you can even set intentions like, I'm going to send out a resume today, or I'm going to find for anybody unemployed, that's a real down.
Absolutely, yeah. Write it down. I am going to send out 3 resumes today, and just do it. Almost mechanically do it. This is what your goal is for today. This is one of your intentions. Maybe going for a power walk, going for a walk, sending out three resumes today if you're unemployed. But get the movement. And once you get the movement, you're going to actually feel a lot better, knowing you're going to actually tap into hope. When I spoke at the Radisson I think it's on 34th and Broadway a few years ago with Pessy, it just came into my mind. We were talking. I was lecturing about trauma, and I said, hope gives energy to the present moment. So if we can just tap into a little bit of hope that we may have, lean into a little vulnerability and be with that and watch the hope grow. Fear has energy. Let's turn it into hope. And when you start moving, that automatically happens. So even if you feel a little afraid, a little nervous, do it anyhow. Remember, this body sensation is your body preparing to do great things. So you shift your mind on what you tell yourself these sensations mean. But it's so very important to get that energy flow.
As time is winding down, do we have something like a little self-compassion type of hug where we can like each other, like ourselves a little?
Yeah, absolutely, because you have to like yourself before you can like others.
That's probably the most important, isn't it?
Absolutely, because we always
to love yourself, and maybe that's the hardest, especially when you're loving the dog and you're loving the children and you're loving everyone around you. Sometimes you forget about you.
Yourself, and treat yourself like your own best friend. What would your best friend say to you when you were down? Because a lot of times we automatically pile negativity on top of negativity upon ourselves with negative self-talk. Well, I can't do any more, I'm done, I'm finished, I'm stuck here, this is it. Rather than say, I can move on despite this. This is a gift. This is a learning experience that I can grow from. And you shift your thinking. But you can't treat yourself like your best friend. What would your dog say to you if you were down? Dogs have love, limbic resonance. They're there for you. Be there for yourselves. So one of the things you can do is we call this a self-compassion hug. You put your right arm right underneath, almost under your armpit, even with your heart, and then your other arm right here, and just give yourself a nice hug. And breathe in through your nose. Hold it for a second, and then slowly release out of your mouth. Fill your hands holding your body ever so gently with warmth, compassion, sense of comfort, as if a loved one is holding you. Because a lot of times there won't be a loved one around, but you can always stop and pause and give yourself a little hug. Say, I'm okay. I'll get through this. I'm learning from this. And begin to just hold in the self-compassion, that love for yourself. Self-compassion is so very, very important, and just giving yourself a self-compassion hug for a minute and just be with that. Don't think about it, just notice it. Feel your hands on your arms, feel the warmth and the pressure. Self-compassion is very, very powerful. Research shows, and this was during the Iraqi war, there was some research done. I think it was Walter and Pepper was the research study. I'm writing a book on trauma right now. But one of the things I found in my research is that it's not the amount of combat exposure you actually exposed to, the amount of combat in war that you're exposed to. It really counts the most is your self-compassion, how much self-compassion you have. The greater your self-compassion, the greater likelihood that you won't get PTSD. The research shows that support troops who were working in the kitchen, not out in battle every day, with low self-concepts, low self-compassion in particular, had higher levels of PTSD than combat soldiers who had high amounts of self-compassion. So you give yourself a break with self-compassion. It's very, very powerful. You can get through things. You can move on. It may feel like you can't, but once you get started and move with movement, you can take that step forward. It only takes one step at a time. Don't look at the end result if you're writing a book or something.
Right.
Stay within the process of working 3 to 4 hours a day on your book, which I've been doing for the last 2.5 years. I noticed when I was demotivated when I started looking at the end result and how far I had to go.
Because it's so overwhelming when you do it. When I do my show, I try to do it in small bits, and then eventually it will come all together. But if I, like you said, if I think, oh, I have to get this show all edited and done, I get so overwhelmed.
So you break it down into small pieces. Stay within the process. This is what I'm going to do today. I set my intention. I'm going to work on chapter 3 in my book for 3 hours, and just set your intention and stay with that. You stay within the process rather than get stuck of looking at outcomes. And that's where the key lies. You should set your goals, but you're not always looking at the long-term goal. You're staying with the process of doing little things each day to move it forward. Dean Smith, he used to coach at University of North Carolina, said, we do what we have to do and practice every day to the best of our ability. And the coaches work together with the team, but we don't worry about outcomes. They take care of themselves. So you can see how important that is, to stay within the moment. Stay within the present moments, focus on what you're doing, and do things in very small increments. I'm working with an athlete now who actually just participated in the New York City Marathon in October.
Oh, yes.
And Greg he's from Ohio, and he came in 743rd out of I think 47,000 participants.
That is amazing.
We've been working together, and the key is to stay within the moment. What does that pain mean to you when you feel like you're hitting a wall at the 22nd mile? That's a reminder that you've trained hard, and this is a memo to take one step in front of the other and flow with that. Become one with the course. You're not fighting the course, you're flowing and becoming one with it. And it opens you up to so many other different possibilities. There's no limits on what you can do. And once you realize that, but stay within the moment with your training, whatever you're doing, set your intentions for the day, go out and write them down.
Write them down.
And just do it.
And just do
and
it.
Enjoy the process of where you are. Remember, the journey, the destination is the journey. So just stay within the moment, and things will kind of flow and begin to take care of themselves. But the key is always to enjoy the process. So we just gave you, before we wrap up, we have like 3 minutes left, is that correct?
We're about at the time right
Okay,
now.
yeah, well, we'll be beginning
Stay tuned, no, because we are going to take off right from here
Yeah.
and do our second show.
So we actually we talked a little bit about the fixed mindset, some things you can actually do to begin to move forward. Next show, we're going to talk about more different things you can actually do in the moment in your own body.
Some exercises.
Some exercises, some practices that you can do to integrate your mind and body and begin to create a sense of flow as you shift from fixed mindset to growth mindset with many possibilities, to a training mindset with some of the things you can do to help that shift, and finally to a trusting mindset where you simply trust yourself and just let it happen. And that's what we did today. Why did Kristal do so many great things? Because she prepares. She prepares for hours for every show. And what happens is, when she does all the training, that's just training, that's a preparation mindset. And then when the show happens, she's in total trusting mindset, and things just flow. And that's how you get that. You got to put in the work. You got to go to the office every day and grind it out, but knowing that you can still enjoy the process, flow with the process. So, but I know the time's about up.
Yes, it's.
But we started the journey.
We started the journey, so stay tuned and we'll do a little bit of that compassion.
Yeah, just give yourself a little hug right now. Say, I'm okay.
Put this here and
Feel the body sensations, feel the warmth, and just give yourself a nice hug. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy the comfort of being in a relaxed, calm body.